Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says he's determined to get to the bottom of alleged interference by China in our federal elections. So let's examine the steps he said he's going to implement to achieve that. All right, the first thing he said is that he's going to appoint a special eminent advisor that the opposition parties will agree to advise Trudeau on whether he should call a public inquiry. The problem is the opposition parties don't want that. They want a public inquiry headed by someone that all the parties agree to. Now, the second thing he says is he's going to have a committee of parliamentarians, all parties who have high security clearance and can therefore read confidential intelligence documents to investigate the issue of interference. The problem is that that committee has already said that the government has ignored most of its recommendations for the past 5 years. And that's odd because Justin Trudeau created the committee. Now, the next thing they say they're going to do is they're actively considering a foreign lobbyist registration law similar to what the United States and Australia have. The problem there is that they've been saying that they're actively considering it for the past 2 years, and we haven't seen the law yet. Now, there were also government advisors who advised the government after the 2019 and 2020 elections ways that we could improve guarding against foreign interference in our elections. The problem there is that the government has already rejected one of the recommendations from 2019, which was pretty important. It was that you should start the investigation before the election rather than during the election, because before the election, that's when the planning for the interference would likely happen. If you only do it after the election's been called, that could be as little as 36 days, and that's too little time. Now, the final thing is that the whole process that the Trudeau government created to investigate foreign interference in our elections, which is called the Critical Election Incident Public Protocol, is so secretive that it's unlikely to ever tell us anything about interference. And here's why. To reach the threshold to end secrecy, 5 public servants appointed by the Trudeau government after being briefed by security agencies have to decide unanimously that there was so much interference that it's corrupted the entire election result. And unless it does all that, we're not told anything. Now, think about that for a moment. If it's only when the entire election result has been corrupted and we only hear it in the late stages or after the election, what are we supposed to do about it? Surely the idea is to be aware of this going into the election and telling us at that time if there's, these big plans. It's also useful to remember that prior to adopting all these, methods, Trudeau was downplaying the incident, the occurrence of foreign interference in our elections, and he even said that some of the investigation into might be motivated by racism, which was absurd. So I think it's fair to say that when you're evaluating the efforts of the Trudeau government to make sure they get to the bottom of foreign interference in our elections, we should approach the issue with healthy skepticism. I'm Lorrie Goldstein of Sun Media. We're always interested in hearing your views, and please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our YouTube channel.